During her training, our founder Masita wrote something on the very first page of her notes, something that would become the heartbeat of our school. It said, "Trust the child." This was more than a phrase, it was a deep lived realization that children come into this world with an inner compass, a natural, unshakable drive to grow, to learn, to contribute. She knew then that if she ever started a school, this belief would have to guide every decision, every interaction, every process we put in place. And so, when we began this journey, we brainstormed many names, but nothing captured this essence better than just saying out loud, "Trust the Child Montessori School." But what do we actually mean by trust the child? We see the child as an intuitive being, someone still connected to a deep inner wisdom, an inner knowing, stemming from a constant connection to their true incorruptible nature. Every choice they make, every action they take, every material they are drawn to, every moment of focus, it's not random. It's purposeful, driven by the need to grow. Even when a child's actions seem disruptive or confusing to adults, underneath there is a need, a drive to grow, to be seen, to be supported. But trusting the child is not just about trusting an individual child. By the child, we mean something larger, the child of humanity, the potential that lives within each child to shape the world. When we say trust the child, we are saying trust in the child's capacity to bring about peace, away from the compensatory, fragmented, self preservatory patterns pervasive in the current stage of humanity's evolution. Trust in the possibility that children, when nurtured with trust and respect, can create a new world that is whole, compassionate, and free of human suffering. This is not idealism, it is a deep lived truth that we witness every day. At our school, we trust the child to guide their own learning, and we trust the child to one day guide the world. At Trust the Child Montessori School, every decision we take, whether it's about how we respond to a moment with a child or how we design our environment, is grounded in three core guiding beliefs. Number one, each child is a unique spirit throbbing with their own signature. They have their own destiny to live out and are very much in touch with who they are and what they want to be in the world. As parents and educators, our only role is to help them actualize this spiritual purpose without corrupting it. Number two, instead of molding children to fit our ideas of raising the perfect child, we should tailor our raising of them to their needs. Number three, an educational system working for children towards building an open, free, and loving society will be based on trust, respect, and freedom. No fear, no authority, no coercion, no shaming, no comparison, no competition, no grading. Why is your child's emotional safety important to us? We strongly believe that children need to feel safe, truly safe, before they can even begin to focus on learning. Emotional safety is not a luxury. It is not something extra, it is the foundation. So, what do we mean by emotional safety? It means that the moment a child walks into our school, they feel like they belong, that they are accepted completely, exactly as they are. That acceptance has to come from the adults around the child. It's our responsibility to create an environment where the child knows, I will not be punished for being myself. I will not be shouted at for making a mistake. I am seen, I am safe, and I am okay. Modern neuroscience supports what many of us have known in our hearts all along. When a child does not feel emotionally safe, their body enters a state of alertness, the fight, flight, or freeze response. Their heart rate increases, blood pressure rises, and their nervous system becomes fully focused on survival. In that state, the brain cannot prioritize learning, curiosity, or exploration because it is too busy making sure the body is safe. And when that state of alertness becomes chronic, it creates a deep disconnect from their own body, from their emotions, and from their own desire to grow. That's why, to us, emotional safety is not negotiable. It is a basic human right. As educators, it is our duty to create the kind of space where the child's body and mind can come together in peace to support their natural drive to grow, to learn, and to thrive. How do we create an emotionally safe space for children? Creating emotional safety isn't just about what we do in moment of crisis. It's about the way we show up for children every day. It begins with acceptance. When a child walks into our environment, they are accepted completely, not for who they were yesterday, not for whom they might become tomorrow, but for who they are right now. Their personality, their energy, their pace, their emotions, all of it is welcome here. From that place of deep acceptance, we begin building relationships rooted in love and respect. We don't try to manage or train behavior or obedience. We focus on connection over correction. And when a child expresses big feelings, anger, sadness, frustration, we hold the space. We don't rush to fix or distract. Instead, the adult remains present and calm, attuning to what the child might be feeling beneath the behavior. The goal is not to stop the behavior, but to help the child understand it, to help them feel seen. In time, this builds emotional awareness, self regulation, and trust. Emotional safety also comes from having boundaries, not enforced through fear or control, but through kindness, consistency, and clarity. Children feel safe when they know what to expect, how far they can go, and when their environment is predictable and compassionate. But emotional safety doesn't stop with the child. It extends to everyone in our school, especially the adults. A teacher who doesn't feel safe, who doesn't feel respected or valued, cannot create safety for children. So we take great care to nurture a team culture where every adult feels a deep sense of belonging, where mental health, emotional well being, personal growth, and professional satisfaction are all taken seriously. When adults feel safe, grounded, and empowered, they can hold that space for children. And finally, we help children build their emotional vocabulary. We support them in becoming aware of what they are feeling and how to express those feelings in ways that are kind, clear, and constructive. In this way, safety doesn't come from control or obedience. It comes from presence, connection, and trust. How do we support children who are working through big emotions? When a child is working through big emotions, our first priority is to let them know that it's okay to feel what they are feeling. This validation is extremely important for them to feel at ease. We normalize the experience of feeling overwhelmed. We remind them and ourselves that big emotions are a normal part of being human. Even adults struggle to process and express difficult feelings. At the same time, we believe it's important for children to develop awareness of both the nature and the intensity of their emotions. We gently guide them to express what they feel in ways that do not harm themselves or others, and to understand the impact of their emotional expression on the environment around them. In the classroom, we use calming tools to support emotional regulation. We have a sensory area with materials like clay, putty, and calming objects that help children ground themselves. If a child needs more individual support, the guide may gently take them to a quiet space away from the group to help them name their feelings and co regulate through conversation, breath, and presence. For children who are carrying deeper emotional challenges and need more consistent support, we also have internationally certified in house play therapists. Through the modality of play, children are gently supported in exploring and working through difficult emotions, all while feeling safe, seen, and in control. Of course, whenever therapeutic support is needed, we always engage parents first, explaining how it works, answering their questions, and moving forward with full consent. Supporting children through big emotions is not about fixing them, it is about being with them, helping them feel safe inside themselves, helping them slowly and steadily increase their capacity to feel and process them even when the feelings are large, and walking with them patiently until they are ready to move forward. What do we mean by holistic child development? We follow a holistic developmental approach because we believe that every aspect of a child's growth is deeply interconnected and equally important. We broadly look at development through five key lenses: cognitive, physical, fine motor, social, and emotional. Let's begin with cognitive development. The Montessori system supports this beautifully. Purposefully designed materials and focused work help children sharpen their perception, memory, attention, language, in understanding of numbers, and even reasoning and problem solving. It's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about building the foundations of independent thinking and cognition. Next is physical development. We have an in house physiotherapist with extensive experience working with children. They observe each child closely and guide group based, play oriented physical activities. Through observation, we assess strength, flexibility, and body control across major joints and muscles. When needed, the therapist also designs specific exercises to strengthen particular areas. Our focus is on building strength, balance, endurance, flexibility, and gross motor coordination, all in a fun, engaging, and child led way. Then comes fine motor development. Again, the Montessori materials play a key role here. Children engage in activities that support writing, drawing, tool use, and art. They also build executive functions and functional independence through practical life work. It's about improving hand eye coordination, precision, and control. Now, let's talk about social development. Since the Montessori environment itself is a mixed age community, children naturally learn how to navigate peer relationships. Every day, they practice communication, respecting each other's boundaries, working in teams, sharing space, connecting with others, and resolving conflicts. The environment helps them build authentic, respectful social skills. And finally, emotional development. We observe and support every child in becoming more aware of their emotions. We help them learn self regulation, express themselves constructively, and develop empathy, confidence, resilience, and a healthy self image. In situations where home dynamics also play a role, we work closely with parents as a team so the child receives consistent emotional support from all directions. At Trust the Child, development is not just about academics or knowledge accumulation. It's about growing the whole child, supporting every facet of who they are so they can thrive not just in school but in life. Why are we against the mainstream school system? To understand why we are against the mainstream school system, we have to go back and look at its roots, why it was created in the first place. The formal education system as we know it was established during the Industrial Revolution. This was a time when oil was discovered, factories were coming up, and industries needed a steady, obedient workforce. They needed workers who would show up on time, follow orders without questioning, conform to processes, and obey authority without resistance. That was the only way they could ensure smooth, large scale production. So, schools were designed with exactly that goal, to instill in children the qualities of a compliant labor force. Over time, these values, obedience, conformity, standardization, became deeply embedded in the very structure of education. By the time a child turned 18 and left school, they were expected to be a fully compliant individual, trained to follow instructions rather than think independently. This system even has a name, the Industrial Educational Complex. It's a model where educational system functions in service of the industrial economy, and it has worked flawlessly. Even today, we see schools and colleges mass producing workers for booming industries like IT with curricula tailored to meet the demands of those sectors. Now, of course, this system does open up financial opportunities for children. It equips them with the skills that can help them get a job, earn a living, and become productive. But in the process, something very precious is lost. What we lose is the ability to live an intentional life, a slow, connected, meaningful life, one where we listen to our emotions, our inner voice, our true calling. One where work is not a burden we carry Monday to Friday just to buy ourselves 2 days of freedom, but something that brings joy, creativity, and a sense of purpose. Today, most people are stuck in jobs they don't love, chasing financial security over personal fulfillment. And it all begins with school, where they are taught not to ask, "What do I love?" but "What will get me a job?" And the sad reality is that the mainstream school system isn't designed to nurture individual interest, emotional well being, or meaningful relationships. Even if a teacher wants to support a child's unique path, the system simply doesn't allow it. The structure, the size, the rigidity, everything gets in the way. So that's why we believe a complete rethink of education is needed. Not just a tweak here and there, but a complete shift in what we truly believe school is for. And that's where Montessori comes in. It's not just an alternative, it's the future. A system built not for the needs of an industry, but for the needs of the child. So, as we come to the end of this conversation, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge what this journey really means. Because when you choose a Montessori path for your child, you are not just choosing a different curriculum, you are choosing a different way of seeing your child. You are choosing to trust their pace, their process, and their potential. Here, we don't just focus on what your child learns, we focus on who they are becoming. We support them through their big feelings, their need for independence, their curiosity, their challenge, all of it. We offer the tools, the space, and the relationships that help them feel safe and confident to be themselves. And yes, it might feel uncertain at times, especially when it looks different from what's familiar. But what your child receives in this space, deep respect, emotional safety, and the freedom to grow authentically, is something that stays with them for life. So, thank you. Thank you for being the kind of parent who chooses presence over pressure and connection over convention. It's not just your child who is on a journey, you are too, and we are right here with you.